Welcome back to Reimagining Our Faith. Today, let's talk about why we do acts of goodness, not just the acts themselves. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 20 reminds us, "The Lord detests those whose hearts are perverse, but delights in those whose ways are blameless." Jesus even echoes this teaching in Luke chapter 14, challenging us to invite those who can't repay us, the poor, the crippled, the blind. Invite them to our tables. Why? How is this teaching related to wisdom? Because God wants us to know that true acts of goodness are not transactional. In other words, true acts of goodness are not quid pro quo or a favor for a favor kind of setup. True acts of goodness are radical kindness. Jesus was concerned about self-focused acts of goodness, acts done so we will receive something in return. Several years ago, a friend of mine told me about a decision his church made. A small group in the church was responsible for organizing their annual Thanksgiving dinner, and this group came up with an idea of inviting several of the local migrant families to join them for that special Thanksgiving dinner. But when others in the church heard about this idea, they said, "Well, we don't really want to invite migrant workers to our church. Instead, we could invite the church down the road, and then we could alternate years when we share Thanksgiving together." Can you imagine the blessings that church missed out on because they chose not to invite a group of folks who were different from them to their Thanksgiving meal? And instead, they invited a group that would, quote, pay them back the next year by hosting the event for them. If we want wisdom, here's the challenge from Proverbs. Don't hold back goodness just because it's uncomfortable. God delights in acts of love that come with no strings attached. So today, let's be bold with acts of goodness. Let's be generous without expecting anything in return. For in our bold acts of goodness, God will help us to reimagine our faith.